Hello, kids. Welcome back to another fun and exciting story. Don't forget to smile, learn, and enjoy today's adventure. One bright morning, Shaani was playing happily in the living room. He had colorful toy cars, building blocks, and his favorite talking doll beside him. Shaani loved spending time with his toys. He imagined exciting adventures and funny conversations every day. His mom was busy working in the kitchen. She was preparing lunch and organizing things around the house. Everything was peaceful and quiet. While playing, Shaani became a little too excited. He started running around the house with his toy airplane. He zoomed through the living room, around the dining table, and even near the kitchen door. Whoosh! Whoosh! Shaani shouted as he pretended to be a pilot. Suddenly, his airplane bumped into a shelf near the kitchen. Crash! A bowl slipped from the shelf and fell onto the floor. A spoon rolled away. A few cups tipped over and some vegetables scattered across the kitchen floor. Shaani froze. "Oh no," he whispered. He quickly looked around. Nobody seemed to notice. At first, he wanted to tell Mom what had happened. But then he became worried. What if Mom gets angry, he thought. So he quietly walked away and returned to his toys. A few minutes later, Mom entered the kitchen and saw the mess. The bowls were out of place. The vegetables were on the floor. The spoons were scattered everywhere. Mom looked surprised. Then she called loudly, "Shaani!" Shaani jumped. His heart started beating fast. "Oh," he said softly. Mom called again. "Shaani!" Shaani slowly walked toward the kitchen. "Yes, Mom," he replied nervously. Mom pointed toward the mess. "Do you know what happened here?" Shaani looked at the floor. He knew exactly what had happened, but he was afraid. So he shook his head and said, "No, Mom." Mom looked at him carefully. "Are you sure?" she asked. Shaani swallowed nervously. Then he suddenly pointed toward his doll. "It wasn't me. Maybe the doll did it." The doll was sitting quietly on a chair. Mom looked surprised. "The doll?" she asked. "Yes," Shaani replied quickly. "The doll must have done it." Mom tried not to laugh. "A talking doll made this mess?" she asked. Shaani nodded. "Yes, Mom." Mom smiled gently. "All right," she said. "Let's ask the doll." Shaani's eyes became wide. He had not expected that answer. Mom picked up the doll and placed it on the table. Then she playfully asked, "Doll, can you tell me what happened?" In Shaani's imagination, the doll suddenly came to life. The doll stretched its arms and blinked its eyes. "Hello, Mom," said the doll. Shaani looked shocked. The doll turned toward him. "Why are you blaming me?" the doll asked. Shaani felt embarrassed. The doll continued, "I was sitting quietly all morning. I didn't touch anything." Mom smiled and listened. The doll looked at Shaani again. "Sometimes mistakes happen," said the doll. "But blaming someone else doesn't solve the problem." Shaani lowered his head. The doll's words made him think. Mom gently sat beside Shaani. "Shaani," she said kindly, "everyone makes mistakes." Shaani looked up. "Really?" he asked. "Of course," Mom replied. "Children make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. Everyone does." "Then why do people get upset?" asked Shaani. Mom smiled. "People are not upset because of mistakes," she explained. "They become upset when someone hides the truth." Shaani thought carefully. He remembered how scared he had felt. He remembered how quickly he blamed the doll. And now he felt bad. The doll smiled warmly. "Being honest is brave," the doll said. Shaani looked at Mom. "Will you be angry if I tell the truth?" he asked. Mom gently shook her head. "I will be proud if you tell the truth." Shaani took a deep breath. Then he finally said, "Mom, I did it." Mom listened quietly. "I was playing with my airplane." Soon the kitchen looked neat and clean again. Everything was back in its place. Mom smiled proudly. "You did a wonderful job." Shaani smiled too. "I'm glad I told the truth." The doll laughed. "And I'm glad nobody blamed me anymore." Everyone laughed together. Then Mom shared an important lesson. "Remember, Shaani, mistakes are part of learning." Shaani nodded. "But when we make a mistake, we should be honest and take responsibility." "I understand," said Shaani. And if you're ever worried, Mom continued, you can always tell me the truth. Shaani smiled. Even if I make a mistake? Especially then, Mom answered. The doll clapped happily. That's the best rule ever. The sun shined through the window. The kitchen felt warm and cheerful. Shaani felt proud because he had learned something important. He learned that honesty is stronger than fear. He learned that telling the truth builds trust. And he learned that blaming others only creates more problems. From that day on, whenever Shaani made a mistake, he tried his best to be honest. And every time he told the truth, he felt a little braver. So kids, what did we learn today? We learned that everyone makes mistakes. We learned that being honest is always the right choice. And we learned that taking responsibility helps us grow into kind and trustworthy people. Thank you for listening, kids. Don't forget to smile, be honest, and always tell the truth. See you in the next story. Bye-bye.